Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Usually scenes of gangsters settling scores with guns are something we only witness in movies about the mafia underworld. But who could have imagined that just 2 days ago in the distant country of Pakistan, a beautiful young woman, a TikToker known for her inspiring videos, would lose her life in such a violent way? What was hiding behind this tragedy? Why did those fatal shots target her? And who was the true mastermind pulling the strings? Stay with us through this entire story. It's not only about understanding what happened, but also about feeling the outrage toward a twisted motive behind the crime. And if you enjoy following these intense cases with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly means the world. On the evening of June 5th, 2025, in the quiet neighborhood of G13-1 in Pakistan's capital city, Jalalabad, Islamabad, the peace was shattered by 2 sudden gunshots echoing through the air. Inside a modest house tucked away between calm residential streets, chaos unfolded. A woman rushed toward the living room, terrified by the sound. There in front of her eyes was a sight she would never forget. Her 17-year-old niece lying on the floor, struggling desperately to cling to life. In that fleeting moment, the woman caught a glimpse of a man's shadow darting past the glass door before disappearing. No one could react fast enough because no one imagined such violence would erupt in broad daylight, right inside the victim's home. Cries for help filled the air, drawing the neighbors who rushed over. Shock spread as they saw the young girl unconscious, her body weakened by the sudden attack. While everyone scrambled to get her to the hospital, an urgent call was made to the police. Within an hour, authorities arrived and sealed off the scene. At the hospital, doctors fought desperately to save her, clinging to every fragile heartbeat. But their efforts were in vain. The young victim passed away shortly after reaching the emergency room. The devastating end left everyone asking who would do this. Why target a young and vulnerable girl? Was this a random act of violence, or was it in fact a carefully planned attack? Her identity was confirmed soon after. She was Sana Yusuf, a 17-year-old TikTok star in Pakistan and a promising medical student. Born in 2007 in Kitalayer Chitral, a northern mountain district of Pakistan, her hometown was a breathtaking valley, but one deeply rooted in conservative traditions. Her family held a respected position in the community. Her father was both a government official and a social activist deeply committed to education and women's rights. From an early age, Sana inherited her parents' progressive mindset. Her mother, Fausia, always supported her daughter's dreams, encouraging her to express herself with confidence. In recent years, Sana's family had relocated to the capital city, Jalalabad, Islamabad, after her parents took on new government assignments. At her new high school in the capital, Sana stood out not only because of her radiant smile, but also for her strong academic achievements. In August 2024, she proudly passed the highly competitive entrance exams and was admitted into the medical program of a prestigious university in Jalalabad, beginning her first year with endless promise. Outside of academics, Sana had a deep passion for social media. From her early high school years, she began making short TikTok videos as a creative outlet. With her charming looks, confident voice, and natural charisma, she quickly captured attention online. Her videos showcased everyday life, cultural snippets, and lighthearted humor. Sometimes she wore traditional Kitalayer Chitrali clothing and performed folk dances. Other times she acted out funny skits reflecting daily situations. Through her work, the spirit of her hometown culture was beautifully woven into content that helped people across Pakistan appreciate the heritage of the northern valleys. Sana also used her platform to share empowering messages about women's rights and education topics her father had long championed. Thanks to her fresh, meaningful content, her TikTok account soared to 740,000 followers, making her a sensation among Pakistani youth. On Instagram, she attracted nearly 500,000 fans and even managed a separate account dedicated to brand collaborations. At just 17 years old, she was already financially independent through her influence online, something that filled her family with pride. Friends and fans adored Sana for her positive energy and warm spirit. Despite her growing fame, she remained humble, approachable, and always willing to help those around her. She leveraged her popularity responsibly, often joining campaigns to promote girls' education or raise awareness against child marriage in rural areas. Just one day before her tragic death, Sana uploaded a birthday celebration video on Instagram. In it, she smiled brightly, blew out candles, and cut cake surrounded by friends, unaware it would be the last joyful moment she shared with the world. In previous clips, she had expressed her dream of becoming a skilled doctor and returning to serve her hometown Kaitalir. Yet those beautiful aspirations were cut short on the afternoon of June 2nd. The sudden loss of Sana Yusuf sent shockwaves through her fan community. Many mourned not just the death of a young woman, but the silencing of a vibrant voice that had inspired countless others. She was taken too soon, right at the moment her life and career were blossoming. Inside the family's home in G13-1 Yisilanbao, investigators quickly identified signs of a sudden and targeted attack. 2 empty shell casings were recovered from the living room floor, matching the number of shots fired. Immediately, the police launched a special investigation unit to focus on the case. A formal criminal case was registered at Sumbul police station based on a report filed by the victim's mother, Fazana Yusuf. In her statement, she claimed she would be able to identify the attacker if she saw his face. This indicated the family suspected the perpetrator was someone familiar to Sana. Indeed, from the early evidence gathered, investigators leaned toward the theory that this was a personal conflict, rather than a robbery or random attack. One of Sana's aunts, the only eyewitness at the scene, recalled that the suspect had entered the house as a familiar guest. After a brief conversation with Sana, he suddenly revealed a gun. Just before the shots rang out, she remembered hearing her niece raise her voice. "Leave this place, there are cameras around." This statement drew particular attention from investigators, as it showed the victim had tried to defuse the situation politely, suggesting she recognized the man and wanted to avoid confrontation. Combined with her mother's testimony, the theory that the killer was someone close grew stronger. The suspect list narrowed quickly. At the scene, investigators also noted that Sana's phone was missing. This became a critical clue. If the perpetrator had taken her phone, using it could potentially expose him. Immediately, the police technical team stepped in, working with telecom providers to trace the phone's signal. Simultaneously, surveillance cameras within several hundred meters of the house were reviewed. And sure enough, some CCTV footage captured a man leaving Sana's home at the exact time of the crime. The grainy footage showed the suspect initially walking away calmly, even glancing at a phone in his hand. Moments later, he broke into a run, disappearing from the camera's view. The investigation led detectives to a clear conclusion. The suspect was a young man, around 1.75 meters tall, dressed in dark clothing. After leaving Sana's home, he vanished into a quiet road. CCTV footage also captured the license plate of a nearby car, which police believed was driven by the suspect. This was a crucial lead, one that allowed officers to track his movements after leaving Islamabad. On the night of June 9th, leading into the early hours of June 10th, Islamabad police launched a high-tech manhunt. They analyzed CCTV footage, cross-checked mobile phone data, and followed digital signals that traced the suspect's escape route. Significantly, traffic cameras on the M2 motorway linking Islamabad to Lahore recorded the suspect's car speeding out of the capital shortly after the crime. All the evidence pointed south into Punjab province. Islamabad police immediately alerted local forces to set up checkpoints. After relentless efforts, investigators finally traced the suspect to the city of Faisalabad in Punjab, nearly 186 miles away from the crime scene. By the morning of June 10th, a special Islamabad task force with support from Faisalabad police raided the hideout and successfully arrested the prime suspect. At the police station, the suspect's identity was quickly confirmed. His name was Umar Hayat, 22 years old, known by his family nickname, Kaka. Shockingly, Umar was none other than Sana Yusuf's cousin, a relative within the family. He was also an amateur TikToker who had long been connected with Sana. When arrested, Umar was still carrying the handgun he had used along with Sana's iPhone and the same dark clothing he wore that night. These items gave police irrefutable technical evidence to match with what had already been collected. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Umar Hayat confessed, admitting to taking Sana Yusuf's life. The rapid investigation had solved the case in less than 20 hours, a remarkable success praised by both the public and senior officials across Pakistan. So who was Umar Hayat? At 22, he was Sana's cousin on her father's side, about 5 years older than her. His family originally came from a village in Punjab, Pakistan. Within his household, they affectionately called him Kaka, meaning little one. On the surface, it sounded harmless, but the reality proved very different. Lazy and unmotivated Umar barely graduated from high school and failed his college entrance exams. He drifted through odd jobs while spending most of his time online. Inspired by his cousin's success, he started posting his own TikTok videos, lip syncs, and short vlogs, but gained little attention. Compared to Sana's hundreds of thousands of followers, Umar's account was virtually invisible. Some of Umar's friends recalled that he often showed jealousy toward Sana's online success, while at the same time boasting that he had a famous cousin. Thanks to this connection, Umar frequently visited Sana's home, sometimes even escorting her to events or meeting mutual friends. To outsiders, he might have looked like a supportive older cousin, but behind that image, darker feelings seemed to be brewing. According to the initial investigation, police confirmed that Umar Hayat and Sana shared a close personal relationship. He was well aware of Sana's daily routines and those of her family. For that reason, Umar chose to strike at a time when Sana's parents were away, leaving only her and her elderly aunt at home. This decision highlighted the careful planning and calculation behind his actions. He presented himself as a trusted cousin, only to later reveal the dark intent he had been hiding. As for the motive, Umar never gave a clear explanation. However, insiders and crime analysts suggested two main theories. The first pointed to what is known as an honor killing. While the reasoning may sound contradictory and irrational, such incidents are tragically common in societies where conservative traditions weigh heavily. Umar allegedly believed that his cousin's growing popularity on TikTok had brought shame to their family name. Convinced that he was defending family honor, he decided to act violently, an act disturbingly similar to other cases that have shaken Pakistan in the past. The second theory revolved around jealousy and unrequited feelings. Some believed Umar may have developed an unhealthy attachment to Sana, and when she rejected him, anger consumed him. The fact that he deliberately targeted her in such a direct and destructive way suggested deep resentment rather than a sudden outburst. Regardless of which motive was true, the common thread was clear: his distorted mindset and disregard for the life and rights of a woman. Umar acted as if Sana's existence was insignificant compared to his pride and ego. That in itself is the tragedy at the heart of this case. Currently, Umar Hayat is being held in Islamabad as the investigation continues. He will inevitably face severe punishment under Pakistani law for his deliberate crime. But beyond the courtroom, this case serves as a painful reminder of the darker side of society, where perpetrators use the name of tradition or love as justification to harm their own family members. Based on gathered evidence, investigators reconstructed what happened on that June afternoon. Sana was at home with her aunt when Umar suddenly appeared at the door around 5 p.m. Since the two had grown up closely, she welcomed him inside without a second thought. Umar sat down and began chatting casually, but the conversation soon turned tense. Sana, known for her directness and courage, told Umar firmly to leave. "You should go now. There are cameras everywhere." Despite her frustration, she still tried to keep her manners, adding, "Let me get you some water," as an effort to calm the situation. Sana then turned toward the kitchen, but before she could take a step, Umar revealed a firearm he had been hiding. In an instant, 2 shots rang out, shattering the silence of the living room. Sana collapsed where she stood, robbed of any chance to resist or call for help. The attack was swift, leaving her aunt in shock and the home in chaos. After firing the gun, Umar Hayat froze for a few seconds, staring at the horrifying result of his actions. But almost immediately he regained his cold composure, snatched up the phone that Sana had dropped nearby, shoved it into his pocket, then turned and bolted out the door. He sprinted across the yard and vanished through the gate. It seemed he had carefully chosen the timing striking when the surroundings were empty, leaving no one able to intervene. Within just minutes of pulling the trigger, Umar had already reached the main road. Once outside the range of the neighborhood security cameras, he hurried toward his parked vehicle, a silver car waiting with the engine running a short distance away. Umar leapt into the driver's seat, slammed his foot on the gas, and sped off in the direction of Lahore. Leaving Islamabad behind, he drove recklessly through the night, desperate to escape punishment. In his mind, countless thoughts swirled. Perhaps he could hide for a while in his native Punjab, or even attempt to flee the country altogether. However, every step of the killer's escape had already fallen within the reach of the authorities. With modern investigative tools, CCTV footage, and phone tracking, his route was quickly exposed. By the time Umar arrived on the outskirts of Faisalabad, Punjab, intending to hide at a distant relative's home, the police dragnet was already closing in. A sudden raid by the Special Task Force left Umar with no chance to react. He was captured in Faisalabad at midday in early June, ending his short-lived escape of less than 20 hours. With no way out, the killer bowed his head, placed his hands in the cuffs, and was forced to face the consequences of his actions. At present, investigators have stated that they will continue to question the suspect to uncover his deeper motives and any related circumstances, while also expanding the investigation in every possible direction. Every piece of evidence, text messages, call history, and witness statements is being compiled to create a complete picture of this shocking crime. With clear evidence already in hand, and the suspect having confessed, the Sana Yusuf case was quickly moved into criminal prosecution. Islamabad police charged Umar Hayat under Section 302 of the Pakistan Penal Code for murder. On June 4th, Umar was brought before a magistrate to request remand for investigation. The court approved several days of custody for police to complete their files and record detailed statements. After the investigative phase, the suspect will be transferred to judicial custody, awaiting trial under due process. Given the brutality of the crime and the signs of premeditation, Umar now faces the harshest penalties under Pakistan's law, either life imprisonment or the death penalty for murder. Especially if the act is determined to have been carried out in the name of honor, then the killer will not be eligible for any leniency. In recent years, Pakistan's government has amended the law to close the loophole that once allowed killers to walk free if forgiven by the victim's family in so-called honor cases. Therefore, in Umar's case, having murdered his own cousin, he cannot claim family disputes or beg forgiveness from relatives to evade punishment. More importantly, Sana's parents have vowed to pursue justice to the very end, and they will never forgive the man who stole their daughter's life. As of June 7th, the investigation into the case has been fundamentally completed, with only the trial awaiting. Police stated that they will soon finalize the case file and transfer it to the prosecutor's office for indictment. If everything proceeds smoothly, Umar Hayat will face a public trial in the coming months, and this could become a landmark case highlighting the rampant issue of honor-based violence across Pakistan. The sentence given to Umar will serve as a powerful message that no one has the right to take another person's life in the name of pride or distorted emotions. And what about you? Do you agree with my perspective and that of our team? Please share your thoughts and comments. We truly look forward to hearing your opinions and engaging in more discussion with you. Before we say goodbye, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support our team, as we'll continue bringing you thrilling true crime stories. For now, let's keep our appointment at the same time tomorrow. See you then.